Yo, what is going on, swole bodies? Welcome back to another Jojos video. Today I'm going to be giving my final thoughts on Jojos parts 1 through 5. I have not read the manga yet, but if you've been following the channel, you know I just finished part 5, the anime. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through parts 1 through 5, obviously, and just talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, just my thoughts. And if you disagree or agree, leave it down in the comments below, or just whatever your whole opinions are on the parts. So before we jump into this, if you are new, join the swole body gang, get them plus 10 gains, and let's just jump into it. So part 1, I honestly, before I watched Jojos, I always heard about it, I saw the memes and stuff, and I really did not want to watch it because it was so unique and weird to me, because I just watched, you know, this normal shonen anime, the normal looking, so like Dragon Ball, My Hero, Tokyo Ghoul, Parasite, just like a bunch of anime that were like normal looking. And I guess you could say, yeah, Jojos is very, very unique, and it is not anything like I've seen. So I really didn't want to watch it at first, and plus people talked about it all the time, and I was like, I don't know, I just didn't want to watch it. But then somebody recommended to me, this guy named Wyatt, to react to part 5 on one of my old reactions like 7 months ago. I reacted to part 5, King Crimson versus Bucciarati, and I was so confused. It was probably the worst episode for my first reaction of any Jojos. So I reacted to that and I was like, this is kind of cool actually. So I watched part 1, 2, 3, 4, and then reacted to part 5. I should have reacted to all of it. Part 1, I did watch the movie version on Crunchyroll, which basically like skips a lot of the filler, I guess you could say. It just highlights the main points, and I'm gonna go back and rewatch part 1 and part 2 because that's what I did for both parts, which I didn't think I was gonna get into Jojos this much, so I was like, I'll just watch the movie version. And I did, and I watched part 1 and I was like, you know what, it's good and it's okay with the Hammond, but it's not really anything that I could connect with, I guess, because Jonathan was very chivalrous. But the ending was super shocking to me, that they actually killed off the protagonist, and I was like, what the fuck? What do you mean? That's the protagonist. You can't do this. It's a shonen anime. But then I continued on to part 2. One of my favorite Jojos, probably my favorite Jojo, Joseph. So starting off, I made a whole video on Joseph. He was just a straight up clown, and he learned Hammond too, and learned it more. I really liked how he was like almost like a vigilante, almost, that he stood up for what he believed for in crude ways. So the first thing that comes to my mind is when he had the Coke bottle and used Hammond to shoot it at a police officer, like broke his finger, and I was like, oh shit, he just did that to a corrupt police officer. What a fucking badass. That like hooked me on Joseph. And then all of his other memes with "I'll never forget the Japanese," that's in part 3. And your next line is, there are so many memes about Joseph that introduced a whole new set of characters that seemed to be more powerful than Dio in part 1, who I thought was actually dead. And I was like, thank God, because he kissed Jonathan's girlfriend, murked his dog, tried to kill his dad, did kill his dad. I loved the Aztec gods and stuff, cars, and then Lisa, and she was training Caesar, and then Caesar's death. I really enjoyed part 2, and I was like, what can part 3 be? Because it's a different JoJo every season, what the fuck? And I was like, this is gonna be fucking hype. And then they introduced Stans, and I was like, what the fuck? This is crazy, man. I love this shit. That's why I think part 2 was one of my favorite parts, because he was just straight clowning around, and I really enjoyed that. It wasn't super serious, but it was super serious and badass at the same time, and it really hooked me. And then part 3 came, introduced the Stans, brought back Dio, and I was like, okay. So we got Dio and we got Jotaro, who of course is probably my second favorite JoJo. I think because it introduced Stans, and I thought that concept was so cool, and that's why I just could not get enough of part 3. And then it brought back Dio, and Joseph carried on. It didn't just kill off Joseph, he carried on to part 3 and later to part 4, which I think is another reason why I love Joseph. And the main reason in part 3 is when he does all of his English screaming, like, oh my god, holy shit, and shit like that. And I thought that was fucking, it is hilarious. The main protagonist is Jotaro now, so Joseph was not a side character, but he wasn't the main character anymore. Him and Jotaro with Abdal gathered up 2 more boys, and the boys just went on a fucking trip. It was a new stand. Every other episode, after every fight, there was a new stand. The boys never got a break, which got repetitive toward the end, but I enjoyed every minute of it, and I really enjoyed part 3 as a whole, because I really connected with all the characters. And then of course they had to break my heart at the end of part 3, and I was just so sad. I really was sad that Avdol was killed off, and then he came back and then instantly killed off again. The boy Iggy, he died very brutally. And then Kakyoin, nobody can stop the Emerald Splash, fucking dies because Dio seems to be OP. And then Polnareff gets the shit beat out of him by fucking Vanilla Ice Boy. And then it solved the mystery of what Dio's mystical powers were. Star Platinum fights Dio, and I thought that was so fucking badass. And then they're just Muda, Ura, Muda, 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 Ura. I just like that. And the Yoda Yoda. Jotaro as a JoJo, really, it was a pretty big upset for me, I guess you could say, because he was nothing near Jonathan or Joseph in their personalities. He was like, shut up, you stupid bitch, to like just random girls. I was like, holy shit, dude. And he's fucking swole as shit. All 3 of the first ones were swole as shit. And I was like, damn, that dude's a fucking G. So I really like the fact that JoJo's every single part, the new characters have a different personality, and it's not the same stuff, and that's not the same stuff, and it's just really interesting, and it keeps things fresh for me, and I really enjoyed it. And then of course Jotaro goes on to, you know, he kind of warms up a little bit. They take the picture, and at the end he puts his picture back in his pocket, and you see it again later on, which I really thought was nice, because it's, yeah, he's a tough outside, but inside he misses the boys, and I do too. I cry. But then he got Star Platinum the World, which was fucking dope, and he stopped this. I could go on and on and on about part 3 and part 2, but I'm not gonna ramble on about part 2 and part 3 too much. I'm gonna get on to part 5 because I haven't gave my thoughts on part 5. I did a whole video on why I loved and a whole video on why I hated part 4. I'll throw them in the top right if you want to watch those. So going from part 3 to part 4 was also an actual upset for me. It didn't just like change up my whole attitude. I really did not connect, and if you want to watch those videos, they'll be in the top right hand corner of me talking about it, so I won't go too much into this. But I did not connect really well with Josuke. I thought it was fucking lame how he had his hair. I guess that's another unique personality trait, but it really did not resonate. I was like, I don't give a fuck about hair, give me something else. But that is just his personality. And when I first watched through it toward the end, I was like, damn, I don't want to see this part end. I did have a change of heart throughout the anime, because going from part 3 to part 4, it was just action to slice of life, mystery, what is going on, this dude's been running away forever, can we finally catch up to him now? But I did react to part 4 on a couple episodes with Lil Chink. Rewatching it made me appreciate the vibrant colors, and it made me appreciate everything a lot more than I previously did, and I really did have a big change of heart, so I really enjoy part 4 a lot more now. I have a better view of it in my head, and it's not just, oh, it's just slice of life bullshit with the dude who cares about his hair. It's a lot of character development, a lot of character interactions. Jotaro's still there, Koichi's a great character, I love Koichi. Okuyasu, the boy, Shigechi, rest in peace. And it made me appreciate the characters, and I can definitely do that a lot more now that I rewatched it and gave it another thought, because after part 3 I was jonesing for more. I was like, give me some more, shonen action, yeah, fight. Wait a minute, there were a couple of sick fights, don't get me wrong, but nowhere near, which is a fact, nowhere near as many as part 3. It also did a really good job at building up the character of Kita, which was, Kita brought out a lot of tricky things with the cat plant, the heart attack, and he was, all hope was lost, and then in his despair he did find a golden ticket with the arrow, and that was pretty, I like that. I thought Kita's stand, Killer Queen, was pretty fucking dope. I mean, it just is. But the character itself, I was like, this man has a hand fetish because he saw the Mona Lisa when he was a kid. I mean, that's pretty evil, I guess. So, okay. And then he died to an ambulance, which was fucking hilarious. Moving on from part 4, though, part 5. Part 5 is pretty tricky for me to explain. Because the way I see it, I don't know if anybody else feels the same way. It's like a combination of part 4 and part 3, and the fact that you have the boys, literally the gang under Bucciarati, versus villains, and it's not really a villain every episode. I guess it kind of is, but there's a lot more character development and a lot more vibrant colors and a lot more colorful scenery. I can kind of see it from part 4, but the character design is also like part 4 with the colorful clothes, but the facial features are like part 3, which I really enjoy from part 3. I didn't mention that, but I enjoyed like the art style of part 3 a lot more than part 4. Just go check out those videos if you haven't seen them already. Like I said, part 4, what I hated, what I loved, because I did talk about the art style a lot more. But part 5, I've done some research. Giorno is the least liked character of all 5 JoJos so far. He's like the least liked. And I like him as like one of the best. I think he's one of the best, because there's a whole bunch of videos on Giorno as a character in itself. I recommend checking those out, but I'm just gonna briefly go through the reasons. He's kind of like a Jonathan meets a Joseph meets a Jotaro meets a Dio. Like all 4 of those mixed into one character, which is very strange because all 4 of those people couldn't be more different. But he is, because how I see it is he has a chivalry of Jonathan. He has a trickery and the big brains of Jotaro and Joseph. And he also has the badassness to him and the coldness to him like Jotaro. And then he has the absolute, I don't know how to say this, like the stand cry of Dio and the looks of Dio and the no forgiveness of Dio. I guess that's the way I can put it right now, because he is friendly to those just random people, but if you fuck with him or if you're trying to do something with his people, he will go all out, just like unforgiveness of Dio. He's a very intelligent character, and I think I saw in a video, I can't remember for the life of me where, I'm sorry, if you know the video, throw it down in the comments. Giorno is not people's favorite because he's not the main character. He's not always the one to go and stand rush all the villains. He does have a large role in all the villains, like using his brain to formulate a plan or to figure out what the stand is, like with the Mirror Man, I forgot what his name was in part 5, and with Pesci and Crucito, I can't pronounce his name, but like with those 2 fights, he figured out what was going on, but it wasn't up to him to solve it. In the Mirror Man's case, it was Fugo and Fugo's stand that killed the villain, but it wasn't necessarily Giorno. And then Rancha got his own fight and Mista got his own fight. Giorno is not in all of these fights. That's why he's not everybody's favorite. I like the change in like the support role, and especially with the fact that he has like the healing abilities. GER, which is at the end, but GER is fucking nutty. He literally sent, I'm skipping so much, I'm gonna go back. I'm just so excited because I just finished part 5. He is fucking insane. He just no. It gave the boss an infinite death, which some people said he deserved, some people said he doesn't. I say he does. He killed way too many of my boys. He killed way too many innocent people, and he's supplied drugs to little children and has corrupted the whole city. I think he deserved it. But going back to the boys, Mista, Fugo, Bucciarati, Narancia, and Abacchio, the boys. One boy is all that remains out of those 5, which that's why it reminds me of part 3. The part 3 elements come through with the fact that he is not afraid to kill off main characters. And it was really heartbreaking, disappointing, and just sad seeing the characters go out the way they do, because you spend so much time, and it's like a guilty pleasure of mine that I like to see some death, because I want to make sure there's a sense of fear that nobody's safe, which they established really well with Jonathan, by the way. But at the same time, I don't want to see my favorite characters die. You gotta pick your poison, which one you want. And if all of them just survive, you just be like every other shonen with, yay, happy time. Then Turtle Nerf got introduced. The boy, I enjoyed part 5 a lot. Man, talking about the boys dying just brought back sadness, because I really connected with the characters. I really enjoyed all 5 of the boys, the side characters, which I think all of them are main characters. I really enjoyed the boys in Giorno, seeing their personalities clash. I actually take that back. I just forgot. Fugo did not die, but he's dead to me. I'm just kidding. But he did not die. He just left. So 2 of the boys are left, but one of them made the sensible decision to not go against the most powerful entity in JoJo so far. But GER was insane. The boys, I love them. The art style is dope. The character design is dope. Soundtrack is dope. The stand rush is dope. I love that stand rush. The Muda stand rush. The villains, super unique. Some of them are super unique and super cool. Like the mirror guy is kind of like Hangman, but more effective, I would say. But the boys, bro, the OPs were dope. The soundtrack was dope. Man, that soundtrack blew the fuck up. Like, I knew about the soundtrack before I even watched JoJo's because of 8 months ago. I didn't understand. Now I do. All leading to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure becoming one of my favorite animes I've ever seen. And I'm happy I reacted to at least part 5 and the end of part 4 on my channel. I wish I would have done all the parts. I don't know why I didn't. I guess I was trying to get to part 5. But looking back, I should have reacted to all of them. I'm excited for part 6 to come. I know Jotaro becomes super strong because he trains again. That's all I really know of part 6. It's called Stone Ocean, and the main protagonist is... Actually, I'm not going to say that. That might be a spoiler for people. So that's my overall opinions on JoJo's Bizarre Adventures part 1 through 5. Waiting for part 6 to come out. It's going to be fucking sick. I hear some great things about it. Actually, if you guys want to see a ranking video where I compare the parts more in depth and not just what I liked and what I didn't like, let me know. I might just do one where I make a tier list and just rank parts 1 through 5, which is gonna be fucking tough. I'm gonna have to think about that a lot. This was basically just me rambling about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure for however long this video is gonna be. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any more JoJo's videos you want to see, leave them down in the comments below. Thank you, Swole Bodies, for watching. Stay tuned for some more JoJo's and other anime related content, and as always, I'll see you, Swole Bodies, next time. Peace.